So what are travelers looking for? Amenities. Amenities matter. We have filters on our site. If you have if you're properly showing what's in your or representing what's in your listing, it's really important. Air conditioning, Wi-Fi, kitchens. People want to travel and experience at least what they already have, but better. So making sure that you are up to date and you share. Maybe you think it's not important that, hey, the photos show that there's a kitchen. I don't need to talk about it or include it in the amenities. You don't want to be filtered out of the search. You want to make sure you're representing your property to the best that you can, that you'll end up in more search results, more bookings. You don't want the traveler to second guess looking at a photo and saying, is that an oven or not? So making sure you're represented well in the amenities. Pet-friendly options have grown. People want to travel with their pets, especially on these short weekend trips that I was talking about, last-minute trips. They want to include their furry family members. I know when I travel, I filter for pet-friendly as well, especially if it's somewhere driving distance. So just making sure if you can, if you have the ability to allow pets, make sure it's in your listing and it's in the search filters and you promote it because it's really big. I think the demand for it is much higher than the supply. So if you're looking for an edge, being able to be pet friendly is a big one.
Hey, Sam.
Yep.
Jump in with one example that we worked on together to help a few of our mutual customers, kind of going back to the amenities a little bit, is the children welcome, right? We noticed a lot of listings that would expect to have families and children coming weren't checked off as being welcoming to children, and that has such a huge impact. It's one of the things that we've now made default for new listings so that our users don't have to think about it. But it kind of goes to show us an extreme example, but when it comes to things like the Wi-Fi, the air conditioning, the kitchen, we take those for granted as short-term rental professionals, but the guests don't always take those for granted. And when they're making a huge investment in their stay, they're going to be very measured and make sure that what they select visibly has exactly what they need listed in writing, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think it's regional, right? Like we're in Texas. I think every place every place here does have an air conditioning, right? But if I'm traveling somewhere else,
you're not sure.
I don't know how the weather there, if they have it. I mean, it's kind of a regional thing, right? So I would probably, I don't know if I could sleep without air conditioning, so I would probably filter for air conditioning. And if you don't have that amenity, you're going to be left out. So
I don't want to sleep or be awake without air conditioning.
Exactly.
AC is pretty important because a lot of Texans go to places like Colorado where there are fewer properties with AC. So making sure you have that turned on.
Yeah, don't
know where your guests are coming from.
Yeah.
And then lastly, what are travelers looking for is unique stays. If you have something unique about your property, like if it's Instagram worthy, like highlight that, make it your opening photo, make sure people know this isn't just a normal house, right? It's unique in some way and people want to experience that. And then back to amenities, what's important to travelers right now is what they're telling us is outdoor spaces. If you have a grill, if you have a balcony with a view or pool or hot tub, you'd be shocked at how many listings I see that have a pool, but they don't mention it in the headline. It's buried in the photos. It might not be in the amenities. It's like, this is one of our top filters used by travelers. So make sure it's giving you an indication of how important it is. So make sure you're highlighting that. Entertainment options, make sure you're presenting if you have board games and pool tables, smart TVs. This is what travelers want. And then safety features. People want to know if it's a safe area, if it's, the door has a good lock, things like that. Like, what are the check-in procedures that will make sure that the travelers feel safe when they book your property? And then really quickly, just going over like trip durations and the changes. We're seeing a lot, like I mentioned earlier, we're seeing a lot of 2 to 3 night trips. People wanting to get out really quickly for the weekend, maybe not taking so much time off. I know remote work is down a little bit. A lot of people were doing these extended trips because they were remote and they could work from somewhere, but that's kind of come down a little bit throughout the country. So making sure that you can accommodate the short trips, maybe midweek or weekend, and then also, we do still have the extended stays. So continuing to promote any kind of pricing, especially you have for longer trips, is also helpful. And then midweek travel, travelers are booking trips in the midweek, so making sure that you have pricing set up for that and minimum night stays set up to fill those gaps in the midweek. And then lastly, I think lastly is the importance of flexible policies. Free cancellations, people are using this filter. It's more and more important to make sure that you offer flexibility if something does happen. People want to be able to book. I don't think people book with the intention of canceling, but they want to know that if something happens, if they're sick, or if there's some sort of emergency in the area, that they have that ability and that flexibility to cancel. And that just leads to higher conversion that we've seen over the years. Clear communication, making sure you have all your house rules set up, your expectations, check-in, check-out. These are all important that travelers look for. And then responding to messages, being a clear communicator. These are all things that travelers have told us are important.